Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. Well, I'm not in the service clinic. It's a beautiful fall day here in the Carolinas. So I'm outside at our little lounge outside with a tent and a classic bike. And I'm kind of looking at a catalog or a manual. You know I'm big on service manuals. I want you to join me and look at this early model service manual. I'm about to go up to North Carolina because I heard there was a guy named Steve who loves to tinker and repair 45 motors. Now that's odd to hear, 45, but that's what they were called back in 1940 to 1950s. A 45 motor is different, and I've never rebuilt a 45 or a knucklehead, so that's one of the motors I want to talk with Steve and get the insight on. So come on over and let's look at this service manual for a 45. All right, this service manual was given to me by a retired mechanic who worked on Harleys all his life. 45 Harley-Davidson motor service manual, the factory thing, for 1940 to 1952. Oh my goodness, operation and maintenance manual for Harley-Davidson military motorcycle model 42 WLA, solo built for the United States Army. Some say it's the motorcycle that helped us win the war. Wow, some classic pictures, huh? But what I really want to go to is this section here. Initial service of a motorcycle be done by a unit mechanic at the first 250 miles. So you only go 250 miles, and they want you to check, make sure the lubrication is doing well, and check the chain. Remember, we're in the chain drive days, not belt drive. Then at the first 500 miles, we drain the oil, we check the transmission fluid, we clean the air cleaner, make adjustments to the chain, check the wheels, check the battery. Now we go on to the very first 1,500 miles. Then after that, pending this service, you follow the 1,500 service every 1,500 miles. Now, compared to what we got now, wow, you're stopping a lot for the service, but the roads back then weren't that paved. So yeah, there was a lot of stress on these 45. And then I got to share with you, because this is in no modern manual that I know of, the higher echelon inspection to be made at intervals above 2,000 miles. This inspection consists of a thorough check of all parts of the motorcycle as follows. The engine. Check the ignition, including cleaning spark plugs and the circuit breaker contact points. You know how we love to clean those points. Check the ignition for knocks or unusual sounds. Check the compression. Do we still have some? Oh, I forgot to say, back in these years, one model had 4.5 to 1 compression, and the other one had 6 to 1 compression. So you probably could check it with your thumb over the spark plug hole. Check the valve clearance, which would be a good idea, carburetor adjustment, clean the air cleaner, and check the support bolts for the motor. On lubrication, condition of the oil tank to determine if the oil change is needed. So look in, see if it's dark and black. Well, you might have to check it and change it. Oil pressure signal working okay. I like this, oil lines for brakes or loose connections. I think I would be the first one to know when an oil line breaks. It'd be all over the place. Check the clutch adjustment. Check the transmission for unusual noises indicating a worn bearing. Look for worn sprockets because we're doing the chain drive. Check your shifter, lever. Check your wheels for alignment, loose or broken spokes. Remember, these roads are not paved with gold. Damaged rims, wheel mounting socket screws are tight. Worn bearings, worn sprockets. Now, this is at 2,000 miles we got to check. Check your tires for cuts, bruises, pointed objects. Pointed objects. Okay, axle nuts. Check the frame for breaks in the tubing. Tank for leaks, gasoline brakes or loose connections, handlebar controls and lubrication for these. And here's the miscellaneous. Check your battery. If the battery's not too good, check your generator. Check the electrolyte level in your battery. And back here, this was 6 volts. Check your lamp, your horns, rear stand, electrical system. And this is my favorite. Check the entire motorcycle for loose nuts, bolts, and screws. My, we've come a long way in servicing a Harley-Davidson. We've got every 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles. These guys were, well, in the war, they were going through heck, and they had to make sure that the motorcycle kept running so they could be couriers and do the important things they needed to. I have in my possession back in the library a manual that each motorcycle was given, that on the road, if it broke down, the rider could go through this manual and figure out how to get it back on the road. Just wanted to share with you some history. If you get the chance, go to Barnes & Noble, go to some bookstore, look up the old Harley-Davidsons and see the heritage, see the look, see the road that they paved so we could ride and have fun. I'm Doc Harley. We'll see you next week.